everybody, my name is Sandra Yap from FOMO Media and I am here with Mark Price, the founder of Devslopes and Blockstart. Mark, is this your first time in Malaysia?
This is my first time in Malaysia and Asia.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you find it?
It's great. Good weather too. And I like it a lot more than Europe. It's cool.
It's
laid
cool.
back. It's way laid back.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
But well, Malaysia's more chilled as compared to like Singapore. It's really.
No, I wouldn't even know. So it's
wow.
great. It's great.
Okay. Well, so have you heard of actually the growth of blockchain in Southeast Asia?
Yes.
Like people are saying that it's the hub of blockchain.
Yes.
Right now in
Yeah.
Southeast Asia. What do you think about that?
I mean, well, that's why I'm here. But what's really interesting is, so I'm from the United States, and a lot of the blockchain use cases are very corporate or enterprise. But what's amazing is the growth is actually much bigger outside, and I see it because a lot of the emerging markets have huge needs for blockchain, like things that we might not normally need or have in the United States because it's so regulated. And so there's lots of problems that are being solved with blockchain out here. And so I think that because of the high demand to solve those problems, all these blockchain solutions are popping up everywhere.
That's awesome. So kind of like financial inclusion, like people that are unbanked, you know, in developing countries.
Yep, yeah.
Blockchain is
finances, like things like theft and keeping people honest and corrupt governments, and like you see a lot of really cool applications surrounding those types of things that I don't typically see in the U.S. And I think there's a bigger need for those types of systems out here.
How about like adoption? Because we still have problems with adoption of the technology here. What do you think we can do, or do you think regulators are able to help with that adoption challenge that we're facing right now?
Yeah, adoption has a lot to do with education, as well as you don't typically see adoption like growing until like it hits mass markets. But in a lot of cases, we're hitting government right now, enterprise, and a lot of institutions where it's very private. Like so,
yeah.
They implement solutions, but nobody knows about it. And so you don't typically, until you get to the users on an iPhone app or Android phone playing with a blockchain app, where it's really going to start spreading in that way. So I think adoption is growing, but I don't think we're hearing about it as much.
I think that like user interface is really important as well for this, right? Because
yeah.
most of the interfaces are so hard to use. So
yeah.
as like a normal person, I'm like, I don't want to do anything wrong because blockchain is immutable.
Yeah.
If I do anything wrong, I'm not gonna have my funds
Yeah,
back.
it's like here's your key. The quick brown fox jumped over the dog, but wait, don't take a screenshot of it. Don't email it to yourself. You're like, what am I supposed to do with this thing?
What? I'll just not do anything.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna not do anything.
Yeah,
so I don't make
that
any
needs to be solved
mistakes.
too. User experience definitely needs to be solved.
Yeah, definitely. I think yeah. So how about like you know, as a developer, everyone's talking about this, consensus that, like proof of work, proof of stake, delegated proof of stake. Like, what is your take on that?
Yeah, so I'm very pragmatic and also very, I would say, agnostic of the different platforms. I look at them for how they really are, and you know, there are so many different use cases. Like what you see on the news is like what I consider the fanatical side of blockchain, Ethereum, Vitalik Buterin, all the stuff that like enterprise and nobody even cares about. Like people actually don't even know that you don't actually even need proof of work or proof of stake to launch blockchains. But we see these things in the news and the media, and all these enterprises are building out systems that don't even have anything to do with that at all. And so you just see the hot things in the news, when in reality a lot more is going on with blockchain than you would think, both for businesses, for developers, for enterprise, you know, across the board. So there's a lot. All that stuff, in my opinion, comes from Ethereum and the Ethereum fanatics, and that's what seems to circulate in the news. But there's a lot going on, way more than that.
How about yourself? Like, what are you personally kind of focusing on in terms of the development of this technology?
Yeah, so I'm very passionate about business and user adoption. And so, whereas others are focusing more on like decentralizing the future, let's take down the governments, let's make a free world. Like, I'm very pragmatic and like, we need to have more transparency and immutability, but I want to bring it to businesses. And in fact, that's what my company Blockstart does. We like blockchain as a service. We want to make it so easy for developers and businesses and then users to be able to use blockchain applications. So I'm putting all my time into the business side of blockchain.
So you're bridging developers to businesses.
Yes, making it easy.
At Blockstart. How about Devslopes? Do you mind just kind of giving us a brief introduction on that?
Yeah, so Devslopes is a learn to code company that I've owned for a few years now, and more recently we've been doing blockchain, so corporate blockchain training, developer blockchain training on site, in person, and online. And so we are now basically traveling the world training on Hyperledger, training on the NEM blockchain, training on Ethereum, training on Stellar, and just really building up developers and businesses on blockchain, showing them use cases and how to do it, and it's really high demand right now. Actually, the reality is there's not enough developers to meet the demand for blockchain development.
That's so true. How about the different languages? Like, I'm not sure about the specific different languages. I know that Ethereum uses Solidity. How about your developers? Are they kind of well versed in every single language and in every single different types of protocol?
Yeah, so for instance at Devslopes we try and actually build the things that we teach, so it's really practical. So some of my Blockstart developers will do trainings, but Solidity is very specific to Ethereum, and it's actually not a great programming language. I've been an engineer for over 10 years, and Solidity is actually quite terrible.
Oh, really?
And, yeah, it's
What is the best one in your opinion?
Yeah, so I think the best blockchains for developers to work with are blockchains that have APIs that you can use in any language. So that would be Stellar, that would be the NEM blockchain, where you can build blockchain apps in JavaScript and C# and the Go programming language and Ruby and all the languages that developers already know, so they don't have to go learn something completely crazy. And those are the blockchains that I often advocate to clients or people that we train, as ones that you can use any programming language with.
Wow, okay, awesome.
Yeah.
How about like the trend right now between developers? Is there any trending topic that's going on?
I mean, you always have like the proof of work, proof of stake, going on. But again, a lot of that surrounds Ethereum. Like when I meet with businesses and corporate clients, they're not arguing about, oh, we want proof of this or proof of that. In fact, they don't even care about governance in some cases. And so, and you do see like the quantum computers. Are they going to take down blockchain? And you see a lot of things like that. But a lot of those are buzzwords. And I think the people that really matter are the ones that are actually out there building stuff. And I mean, I think I would say that the one that people do talk about is how many transactions per second, like, yeah, my blockchain gets 5,000 transactions per second. How much does yours get? And that's kind of misleading too.
And the problem is we don't even have enough transactions to even fill that.
Yeah.
Even if you create like a 4-lane highway, if you have one car,
exactly.
you're still gonna.
Yeah, we need to get a car on the freeway first before we build 4 lanes.
Exactly. Awesome. How about quantum resistant? Like, are you looking into that at all, or is that kind of like?
Yeah, quantum computing, first off, is really expensive. So you're always going to get your researchers at the top end, like, oh, this could take down blockchain, yeah, but who can afford it? And so, I mean, a lot of things that we talk about are theoretical, and I mean, so realistically, I don't think companies that are implementing blockchain are like considering that or thinking about that right now. It's probably one of those things whereas when somebody does something nasty, we're going to address it and fix it and figure it out.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your insight. If we want to know more about Devslopes and Blockstart, like where can we find it?
Yeah, go to devslopes.com/blockchain and all the information there. We do in-person trainings for developers, enterprise, banks, across the board on blockchain.
Awesome. Well, check the link out. And if you like watching us, subscribe to FOMO Media. And thank you for watching. Thank you so much, Mark, for
Thank you.
being here with us.
Appreciate it.